We are officially in the end game as Sadiq Khan is being taken to court over his net zero ULEZ policy. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel that challenges the mainstream media and the political establishment, from the left-wing nutters to the globalist elite. The first video of the day is about Sadiq Khan, the London mayor. We have other updates for you guys as well. If you're new to the channel, we come to you guys every half an hour with all the updates that either the mainstream media are not talking about, or even if they're talking about it, they have their own bit of spin as usual. We are here to fix the spin of the MSM. First things first, let's talk about Sadiq. It's not going well too well for him as usual, because the London boroughs that have been rebellious over the last few months have finally decided to push the courts to give them a date. Basically, right now there was a review in the courts to see whether this potential court case or challenge is going to be actually important enough. Whether ULEZ is potentially unlawful. And the courts have said, yes, it is potentially unlawful. So we're going to have a proper session to go through the whole thing to find out exactly what the challenge is and what the defense is going to be. I'm really looking forward to Sadiq Khan's defense when it comes to the ultra low emission zones. We're going to get into that in a second, but it's all about him, obviously. He said that this whole project will help with pollution and also somehow traffic, but it's actually done the exact opposite. And the cost to the taxpayer is massive. The whole thing is a cash cow scheme for himself to make more money, as a TfL, the Transport for London, as an organization, almost went bankrupt 2 or 3 times under Sadiq Khan. So he had to go beg central government for more bailouts. At the same time, we are looking at a date in July as a High Court challenge has been brought forward by the 5 rebellious Tory councils: Harrow, Hillingdon, Bromley, Bexley, and the Surrey County Council, who have decided to get together to create this movement. At the same time, the rebellion is not just about the local boroughs and councils. We actually had local residents in London and drivers and many others who decided to go and do a bit of vandalism, essentially. Attack the ULEZ cameras, either cut the wire or block the lens, the view of the cameras. We even have the central government in Westminster getting ready to block it in case it still goes through. But now that we have the court case, I think this is actually a much better decision and an easier way to actually make sure that ULEZ is recognized as unlawful. Anyway, sources have said that the courts had only been required at this stage to decide whether the claims were arguable, and that no decision had been made about the lawfulness of the ULEZ. Fair enough. It is understood that TfL will continue to defend the case. Now, London Tory MPs, including Greg Hands, Ian Duncan Smith, Paul Scully, and Gareth Bacon, welcomed the news. We actually had a Twitter thread from Gareth Bacon on this issue. Let's quickly go and analyze this, because Gareth Bacon MP said, "Well, I'm delighted that the 5 local authorities, including Bromley, challenging ULEZ in the courts, have won the first stage in their legal battle against Sadiq Khan's decision. While the full legal case is still to be fought, today's decision is a significant step forward." I agree with Gareth Bacon. The court has decided that there is an arguable case that Sadiq Khan has improperly handled his decision to expand ULEZ across outer London. The judicial review will now proceed to a full hearing in the High Court. He continues by saying that this whole thing means that the court believes that there is an arguable case that the mayor didn't handle the ULEZ consultation properly and failed to consult affected residents in neighbouring home counties. Well, you remember the original outcome of the consultation and all surveys that came out, we discovered that City Hall and Sadiq Khan's office essentially rigged the numbers to make it look so supportive. But then we found out that wasn't actually the real result of the consultation. He was essentially doing a bit of a cover-up. Sadiq Khan arrogantly dismissed this legal challenge, like he ignored outer Londoners' concerns during the consultation. He was wrong to do so, and this should be a wake-up call. He still has time to cancel ULEZ expansion and spare residents his £12.50 a daily road tax. Congratulations on today's success to Bromley, Bexley, Hillingdon, Harrow and Surrey councils who brought this legal action. Like my constituents, I am pleased that they have legally challenged ULEZ expansion, and I wish them every success in the upcoming hearing. Now, it is good to see that ULEZ expansion is being challenged now, and I think that's the first step, especially if they manage to stop it, officially block it. But I would personally, I would go further and cancel the whole ULEZ project, because I'm not really sure it's actually doing any good, even in central London. Considering that most of it, the whole concept, is not really about the environment, it's not really about making lives easier for people, it's actually making it difficult. It's a cash cow system. And it's not really even sustainable as a roads tax, because they are going to be forcing people. Let's just hypothetically say ULEZ is here to stay, and ULEZ expansion is here to stay. And somehow people surrender to the system and they continue to pay the road tax, which means that long term, they're going to be forced to change their cars. That's the whole point of the system, right? If they do that, even hypothetically, if that's the case, people change their cars, everybody surrenders, everybody obeys. But then within the next few months or a couple of years, when everybody's already got cars that are basically compatible with the new net zero measures, then the actual ULEZ as a project is redundant. So it's not even a sustainable tax. It's not like income tax that came forward at the time it was introduced because of the conflict with France and all those areas. And they said, yeah, this is just to fund the armed forces at the time. And then somehow income tax became a fixed feature of our society. It's not even like that, because income tax could always exist, unfortunately. But ULEZ is not even sustainable, even for Sadiq Khan and even for the state. It makes absolutely no sense. That's why Sadiq Khan has a new idea, which we're going to get into later on today, because he's coming up with a new tax for drivers and people across Greater London. The best thing you can do to stay up to date is subscribe to the channel. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.